Everyone plays one little bit and they stop and they click and they're like, oh, the loop's terrible. Your click point is the most important thing. Don't stop. You need to cross the finish line. What is the easiest way for me to explain how to loop successfully? I think I have it. I think I do. Welcome back to another episode of Guitar Fundamentals on Stitch Method. You might notice right away, whoa, Ian, you have an electric guitar in your hand. Well, because we're talking about looping. And so to loop, I need my looper and my electric guitar. So let's get down to it. The most important piece of learning how to click properly, is the click point, your click point. And what is a click point? It's where you click your looper. So as for loopers, I have a very simple looper. I have a Ditto looper. It does one job, it loops. It is built like a tank. I highly recommend it. Very easy to use. Click it to start, click it to loop, hold it down, it clears it out. Very simple. The difference between a looper and a loop station is a looper just loops what you're doing. A loop station, you can save multiple tracks. You sometimes can add drums and stuff, but right now, just a looper is all I have, and that's all I need. And just to let you know, the key to making a good loop, sorry, not the key, but it's important to make a good loop because if you can, then you become even more attached to the music you're soloing over. So I do highly recommend you trying your best to create really good loops and get you in the music making process. It's always fine to listen to backing tracks, but if you make your own loop, you're aware of where every little chord changes, and if you do it really well, you can feel it, and it just helps you get, closer to the music.
There's loads of different loopers out there. I think it's important to get something in the beginning that is simple. So something like a Ditto or a Boss RC1, something that is simple enough, that has got one volume but will be able to do a good sound when you jam on it. Because basically, if you want to get into looping further on, like the RC10 with the drums in it, or the RC3, or there's a little Moore thing with loads of drums in. There's probably, I don't know, 50, 100 loopers out there that you can buy. All of them, does loop, a thing. Then you have to start to look into bit rate. So, I would recommend to buy something that's got 24 bits of data going through. That means that basically when you put more stuff into the looper, it's cleaner when it comes out the other side of it. So let's say you want to build a loop with loads of delays or big reverbs, all that different stuff. So if you're putting loads of these effects through it, then it'll keep clear in the sound. It won't distort as much as it goes through. So you might have seen the new video we did on the Ditto Plus.
Looper pedals. Now these are excellent devices. I think they should be a part of every serious guitar player's guitar kit at their studio, but the sad truth is that a lot of guitar players buy them and have terrible success with actually using them, getting them to operate in the loop function perfectly. Now I can understand this because the functionality of a looper pedal rests upon punching in and out as perfectly as possible, and if a guitarist's feel for timing isn't all that great, the pedal won't lie to you. It's going to relate back exactly what you put into it.
Hey, what's up guys? John here, and I want to show you a cool way to practice using this Ditto looper pedal from TC Electronics. It's a pretty straightforward pedal. It's got one button. You push that button and that's going to start recording. And then you hit it again, it's going to stop recording and it's going to immediately play back what it recorded. And then you can adjust that loop level using this volume knob here. So the signal path is I'm coming out of my guitar into the input of the looper pedal and then out of the pedal into the amp. Okay, pretty straight up setup. And this is just a great thing to use to create your own backing tracks or rhythm parts. Rather than playing with a play along, you could do it yourself, and I think it's just going to make you a better musician. It's going to help your rhythm playing, and it's also going to give you a perspective of like what it's like to for someone to play a solo or something over your rhythm parts and see how it feels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a simple chord progression. We're going to use A minor, F, and C. And this is like the Sam Smith tune, Stay With Me. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first, I like to actually pull up a metronome and just get a little tempo. I'll do this to a click a lot of times just so my playing's even. So here's my metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got that going, and then I'll have, here's what my chord progression is gonna sound like. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's just a repetitive chord progression. Now I'm gonna click the looper. Then I'll click it off. Okay, now I'm gonna stop my metronome. Now check this out, here's my loop. Turn it up a little with the knob. Okay, so now I've got that progression just looping, and you can practice playing over it, right?
Hi, my name is Paul Davis, and in this video I'll show you how to go from this to this. When I jam, I always try to settle with things quickly. If you don't make choices, nothing happens and it all stays too vague for too long. So make decisions and stick with them. So having these chords play, that's okay, but just 4 chords isn't really a thing. So I always try to find something catchy, and that is tip number 2, write a hook. Something recognizable that catches the ears of the listener, and we call that a hook. Something that folks whistle when they do groceries. Very annoying, but very good for getting your song engraved in people's minds. So I was just improvising, trying to find some melodies that work nice over these 4 chords. And I guess I settled with something like this.
That you can loop songs that have 2 or more sections. So here we go. There's a beautiful video from Paul Davids called 7 Fun Guitar Looping Songs that I think you should check out. But it's also the reason I decided to make this video, because in those 7 songs there are a bunch of songs that have bridges that have different sections. And although he plays beautifully and creates these really, really nice loops, I'd be really intrigued to see what happens when he gets to a bridge, where the chord structure changes. So here's how I get around looping songs and performing them that have 2 or more sections. The first way is to simply stop your loop during that section and work in a natural dynamic drop to that little bridge, or that little B section if you like. If it don't matter to you, it don't matter to me. Into the bridge. Yesterday and what we could be, it don't matter. Getting more of what we don't need, it don't matter. Everything unless I'm with you, it doesn't matter to me. And then we're back in with our nice loop. We can there's our song with just that one change. Now, using this same song, we can dive into tip number 2. The second way that we can loop songs that have 2 or more sections is to either use the undo and redo button if you're using a single looper, or if you're using 2 tracks, we can put the groove on one track, and then we can put our chord sequence that we want to loop for the majority of the song, or the bigger part of the loop. And this will create a less of a dynamic drop in those B sections. So I've now got on track A just my little groove. on track B, I have my chord sequence that is the verse and the chorus for this song. Again, just keeping it nice and simple. I'm going to kick in both loops, and then when it comes to the bridge, we're just going to keep the rhythm going and take out the guitar parts that were put in, and then of course after the bridge we're going to kick both of them back in again. If it don't matter to you, it don't matter to me. Yesterday and what we could be, it don't matter. Getting more of what we don't need, it don't matter. Everything unless I'm with you, it doesn't matter to me. Now we're back in with both parts. All good. We made it through that little change section.